I'm Jeremy Wade. I've travelled to the ends of the earth in search of river monsters, tracking down aquatic killers in raging rivers, dense jungles, and remote coral reefs. But now, in the chilly waters off the coast of my native England, a monster has come to me.
It was enormous. It was like Jaws.
What is this mysterious creature in my own backyard, and what's it doing here? Is it a new predator to fear?
Some of the encounters I've had have been incredibly scary.
I consider them to be like an opportunistic predator.
My investigation will take me to the roof of the world to find out what's living in the mysterious frozen seas around Arctic Greenland.
Oh yes, this is a big one.
And on to the icy Norwegian fjords, fishing deeper than I've ever fished before.
Yes, here we go. On this British beach, one day in 2013, something very unusual washed up on the shore. A mysterious 9-foot-long sea monster.
The creature was discovered on the sand shortly after sunrise. Boat Captain Andrew Douglas was one of the first on the scene.
Is this where it was?
I got a call to say there was a bit of a creature or something on the beach.
So word was spreading.
Word was spreading, the locals were starting to talk. But when I got here, you know, it was monster-like.
Monica Cornell was on a morning jog when she stumbled across the bizarre beast.
I was thinking, oh, it's probably a dead seal. And as I got closer, I thought, well, maybe it's not a seal, maybe it's a whale. And it wasn't really till I looked closer at it. It had teeth like a shark. It was enormous. It was like Jaws or something.
The discovery sent shockwaves through the quiet seaside community. Initial consensus was that it was some kind of monster shark. But what kind exactly?
Turns out this shark specimen was so unusual and so important that scientists wanted it preserved. So it was put on ice, it was transported almost 350 miles to here, the Natural History Museum in London.
I've been granted permission to go behind the scenes to the tank room, which houses one of the most important fish collections in the world. This is where the museum stores some of its rarest and most bizarre underwater specimens. Many of these strange-looking creatures were collected nearly 200 years ago by world-traveling naturalist Charles Darwin. But I'm looking for a more recent addition, the mysterious Northumberland sea monster. Its guardian is fish curator Oliver Crimmen.
Jeremy? Good to see you. It's in here, is it?
It is.
I'm about to come face to face with the creature from the beach.
That's a Greenland shark, isn't it?
It certainly is.
And what is that doing on a beach in the UK?
Well, we don't really know. Its distribution is in the North Atlantic and the Arctic, but we haven't encountered them in the UK very often at all.
Is this a dangerous shark, potentially?
Well, because we know very little about its biology, generally speaking, they've been out of sight in deep, cold water. It has been surmised to be a scavenger, but there's no reason why this couldn't dismember active prey.
So we basically don't know.
We don't know.
Now, the Greenland shark is not entirely new to me. I have met this monster once before. 3 years ago, in the dead of night, I hauled one of these giants from the freezing depths of a Norwegian fjord. Also known as sleeper sharks, they're said to be slow-moving and docile. So at the time, I had no reason to think it was anything other than harmless. So much so that I even got in the water with it. But what if I'd got it wrong? Fresh research into this shark is making me question that decision. These little-known sharks can grow to the size of a great white, and they bite with 4 times as many teeth. And I'm uncovering frightening stories about these sharks right across the cold waters of the North Atlantic. If there is a cold water killer lurking in my backyard, I need to know. According to my research, the best place to begin my investigation is here, a country that gave the shark its name. So I'm heading north to Greenland. 80% of the landmass here is covered in solid ice. And with just 56,000 inhabitants, Greenland has the lowest population density of any country on Earth.
This is just amazing. I'm almost speechless. It almost feels like another planet. It's actually my first time here in the Arctic Circle, and that white down there is not land, it's ice. And this being a field, the water underneath the ice is phenomenally deep. And the creature I'm after lives way down below the ice.
Sightings of Greenland sharks are rare. But one group of people do encounter these reclusive beasts, Inuit ice fishermen. So I'm heading to the fishing port of Unmask, 400 miles north of the Arctic Circle. It's 5 degrees below freezing. With a population of around 1,300, Unmask is one of the biggest towns in Greenland. There are no roads in or out. And for 4 months of the year, the sea is solid ice. So the fishing fleet goes nowhere.
I really feel like I've come to the end of the world here. It just looks so different from anything I've experienced before. But it's a sensory thing as well, you feel it. It is just so cold here. And it suddenly occurred to me, I'm not on a frozen beach, I'm actually standing in the middle of the harbour. I'm on sea ice. It's the first time in my life I've actually walked on the sea.
The harbour feels deserted. But eventually I'm directed to a few fishermen out on the ice.
Look, what name are these fish?
Sauersid,
Sauersid?
Sauersid,
Sauersee?
Sauersid.
Sauersee? My mastery of Greenlandic, non-existent at the moment, but they look like cod to me. Nice sized cod.
The locals here are mainly Inuit, the indigenous people of Arctic Greenland, Canada and Alaska. And they've fished these waters for 5,000 years.
Oh, you have one? You have one on? Yeah, it's a long way to bring the line in. Good size?
Big one.
A big one? Oh, I can see it, can see it, can see it. There it is.
Thanks to antifreeze proteins in their blood, cod thrive in cold Arctic waters and are clearly abundant here.
Do you let the bait go down to the bottom? Slowly getting some life back to my right hand. Ah, we're here. So we're on the bottom. Oh, I think I've, yeah. Yes. That's a fish on. My first, I was going to say ice-caught fish. I haven't caught it yet. That was another kick. God, it's going on forever. Oh, I can see something. Here it is. There it is. It's my first ever ice-caught fish. I'm going to get it off the hook and have a proper look at it. So this is an Atlantic cod. And I actually used to fish with these when I was a kid off the beach in England, and I don't think I ever caught one. I think this could be my first cod, which makes it sort of doubly memorable. Who'd have thought all those years ago I might catch my first cod here in the Arctic Circle?
I asked the fishermen about Greenland sharks, but apparently they don't haunt these shallower waters.
Do you know people who catch shark?
To find them, I'll need to head out to deeper water, far from the safety of the harbour. Greenland sharks are most often encountered by longline ice fishermen, like Paluk. He fishes the deeper waters an hour from the town to feed his family and sells whatever surplus he gets. The sea ice we're walking on is seasonal. Although it's a couple of feet thick, it can easily fracture in the areas around icebergs.
If this iceberg tips, it can make waves under this ice.
So the ice will crack here?
Yeah.
Most of the icebergs that plague the North Atlantic come from this coastline, including, it is said, the one that sank the Titanic in 1912. We break open the fishing hole and prepare to haul up 2,500 feet of handline.
Yeah, my fingers are cold already, haven't even started.
Thankfully, Paluk is using what's probably the biggest fishing reel I've ever seen.
Only 800 meters to go.
Paluk tells me that deep water scavengers often take part or all of his catch before he can get it to the surface. And his prime suspect is the Greenland shark.
Not too fast.
I'm hoping that bite marks on Paluk's catch will provide clues about what's hunting down there.
Stop.
I'm in the Arctic on the trail of the elusive Greenland shark, investigating whether it poses a threat to humans. I'm hauling in a long line, which I'm hoping will show evidence of shark activity deep beneath this frozen field.
Got the halibut, the first one.
Have we? We have some halibuts. Fantastic. That's actually quite promising. That's something like 10 or a dozen hooks. 5 fish so far, it's not bad.
This is good news for Paluk's dinner table, but it's not helping my investigation. I don't see a single shark bite.
Yeah.
But this catch does at least give me an insight into the creatures that share the dark depths with the Greenland shark.
Gosh, that's weird looking.
We call it to be shoot.
That's a deep water species.
Yeah.
Look at those eyes.
You can also live at the 1,000 meters
Right.
in the bottom.
Down there where there's not much light.
This fish has a bony skeleton, but others down there are built on soft cartilage, including the Greenland shark. And this creature.
That's just a strange looking thing. It's curled itself all up, but this is a kind of skate. This is actually a relative of the Greenland shark.
We call it nuliak.
Nuliak, this
It
one.
means wife.
Why do they call it that?
It's a wife for the shark.
As night falls and temperatures drop to 10 below freezing, we waste no time getting back to town.
I'm a bit disappointed in a way. No evidence at all of Greenland sharks, which is actually making it look less likely that I'm going to see one.
My ice excursion with Paluk didn't further my inquiry, but he was able to give me a useful contact for tomorrow. Next day, we plan our fishing around the sun. Here in the Arctic Circle in winter, there are very few hours of sunlight. So I make sure I'm down at the harbour promptly. Most fishermen in Unmask try to avoid the Greenland sharks that rob their lines.
Go on.
But there is one man who actively seeks them out, and he's agreed to take me on an expedition to catch a shark. Simi has been going after these huge beasts for 30 years. He uses the meat of these sharks to feed his pack of sled dogs, so unusually for me, this will not be a catch and release mission.
These ones, your dogs? Can I help?
Dog sleds are the traditional Inuit means of transport on the ice and have kept communities connected through winter for thousands of years.
It's like having an unruly fish on the line.
Greenland dogs are renowned for their loyalty. They have even been known to protect their human keepers from polar bears.
So that's the last dog tied up. It looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going with 6. Go and get the sled sorted out.
Purebred Greenland dogs are famed for their stamina. They can run 100 miles a day for 7 consecutive days. The shark fishing grounds are near the edge of the sea ice. The water underneath us is extremely deep, around 3,000 feet, and the ice here is thinner and vulnerable to cracking. When we get to the chosen spot, we immediately secure the dogs. With no rocks or trees around, we tether them to the ice.
If they ran off, we're a very long way from the town.
Simi favours the warmth of his polar bear pants over any man-made fibres. But the fur does get me thinking. This far from help and with nowhere to hide, we are vulnerable to polar bear attack.
Do they have them around here? He doesn't think they're around here at the moment, but they do sometimes come here. I think just the idea that there's polar bears anywhere around here is quite disturbing. Shall I do a little?
The ice here is about a foot thick and takes some cutting.
Good, we've hit the seawater. Just push it underneath. Gone. We have an ice hole. Fishing.
Ice fishing with hand lines hasn't changed much in hundreds of years, although hooks made from animal bone have been replaced by stainless steel.
Slightly more serious hook, and then that's not ordinary line, that's cable, that's wire cable, so even the Greenland shark's really big sharp teeth shouldn't cut through that. We've got a big lump of rock on the end to make sure it keeps on the bottom, and then we've got strong chain.
Simi unwraps his secret weapon, days-old seal meat.
That is horrible. But to a Greenland shark, that smells like dinner. Get that on the hook.
And then 3,000 feet of line, ready to drop into another world, where the water is pitch black and under intense pressure.
Okay, go. So another one.
Yeah, get a knife.
So all the bait's in the water, and it's now pulling down fast. It's about the same distance to the bottom here as it is to the top of that mountain. Everything's very still up here on the surface, but there's a current. Even with that rock and chain on, it's not going straight down, it's going slightly that way.
The current will carry the smell out to sea, and if we're lucky, draw sharks onto the bait in pitch darkness, half a mile beneath us.
Again. We have the bottom. That's just a terrifying depth, and that is just way deeper than anything I've ever fished before.
The fishing that I normally do is often about waiting, but out here that's simply not an option. We would freeze to death. The Inuit way is to retreat to camp and return the next day. That evening, in the last glimmers of daylight, I joined Simi and his family for a traditional meal. They've turned some of yesterday's halibut catch into a stew, and it's delicious.
That's very tasty.
Sharing food is an important part of Inuit culture. Communities will pull together to ensure that no one, including strangers, goes hungry. Next morning, rested and refreshed, we're back on the ice. It's 5 miles to the fishing hole, and the dogs seem eager to get there. The extreme long line has been down for over 12 hours. With 3,000 feet between us and the bait, there's no way to know if we've got something on the line.
Maybe. This is the one Greenlandic word I'm picking up.
Until we haul it up.
We've got a long haul getting the rock and getting the hooks up from the bottom. Something like 3/4 of a mile. And over here, take a wrap. Off we go.
It could be wishful thinking, but this feels heavier than the weighted line we dropped down yesterday.
I think it's more. Yeah. Yeah. There could be something on the end of this other than that lump of rock. Feels like more of an effort.
Walking in relay gives us a chance to catch our breath.
It's a bit like hauling something that could be 1,000 pounds plus in weight, twice the height of the Empire State Building, something like that.
But half an hour of heavy hauling brings the end of the line to the surface.
Line, chain. Oh! Yes.
I'm in the Arctic investigating the mysterious Greenland shark. And I'm helping Simi, a local Inuit, catch one to feed his pack of dogs. We've hauled in more than half a mile of line, and it looks like there's something on the end.
Line, chain. Oh! Yes. Yes, there's a fish. We have a fish on. We just need to get the chain up. Oh, yes. This is a big one. How do we get it through the hole?
The shark isn't fighting. It probably died on the line overnight.
Right, the hole isn't big enough for the shark, so just cutting more ice. 2, 3. It still feels like it's stuck. Looks like we're going to need a bigger hole.
I never like to see a dead fish, but it's all part of survival here for the Inuit. This shark will feed Simi's dogs for weeks to come.
This is a big head. How big's the rest of it? This could be the moment if the hole's big enough. Okay, ready? Need to... Yes, is that coming? Yes, it started to come. I think it's a good 10 foot or so. I think there's still more to come.
This is a perfect opportunity to further my investigation.
It's out. It's a big animal. This is massive. This is huge. Let's have a look at it. It's a female. Very shark-like tail, that asymmetric tail. The fascinating thing about sharks that we always want to look at is the jaws, the teeth. And the Greenland shark has these very pointy teeth on the upper jaw. That's for gripping. But then on the lower jaw, you've got these almost square-shaped teeth with almost like a chisel blade on the end.
They're definitely sharp, but are they sharp enough to attack and kill?
The other thing here is the nostrils. Thinking of my baits in the context of this place, we're talking about a depth of water a couple of 1,000 feet deep. The bait is just a tiny speck in that immensity of water, and this managed to find it, and the way it found it is using its sense of smell.
Simi starts to prepare cuts for his dogs. But the meat will have to be cured before they can eat it. High levels of urea make fresh Greenland shark meat toxic. This is my chance to find out how and what these sharks eat under the ice.
So here's all the guts just coming out. This is a halibut. This is quite a big halibut. There we go, that's the head.
I shoot it.
And look at that. That's part of somebody's fishing net. That's quite a big fish in there. What fish is this? It's a cod. Now, this is interesting. That might be a cod that died of natural causes, and this came along and fed on it. Or they might actually take living fish.
I'm wondering if Greenland sharks are more than just scavengers, so I need to find out what else they eat and how they eat it. But I'm not going to find those answers in this ice-covered sea. I've got to drop my line in more temperate waters. I'm heading 1,500 miles across the Atlantic, where I've heard about a Greenland shark study that's underway off the coast of Norway. Tromsø is a fishing port with a long history of whaling and seal hunting. And today, this small island town is leading the way in the study of Arctic animals, including the Greenland shark. I head to the Arctic University, where a team of scientists are trying to unlock the secrets of this elusive animal. Danish scientist Julius Nielsen made headlines with his cutting-edge research into aging these sharks. His study revealed that the largest and oldest Greenland sharks could be 400 years old or more, meaning that some specimens alive today might have roamed the North Atlantic at the same time as the Mayflower. But Julius also has fascinating evidence on how Greenland sharks feed.
Yes.
And he's sure they have the tools to take out live prey.
The teeth in the upper jaw is like a fork where it can hold the prey, and then in the lower jaw, it's like a razor blade. It's actually working like a knife. So when the shark does like this, and then it can make these circular wounds and circular chunks that they eat.
So you're saying it would do almost like a 180, or it just does a spin?
360 rotation,
yeah,
actually, is what I imagine that they can do.
And Julius has the evidence to back up his theory.
First, this picture, this is beluga whales in an ice hole somewhere in the high Arctic.
Right.
And as you can see here, one of the whales has a very big circular wound.
So that's definitely alive, isn't it? That's not a dead creature.
No, exactly. This is a live whale that has a very, very distinct wound. So imagine that the shark gets a bite on here, and then it just twists around, circular wound. And actually, it's difficult to imagine any other animal in the Arctic that could cause this exact wound.
It appears only Greenland sharks are capable of inflicting this type of injury. Julius also has photos of circular bites of seal flesh found inside Greenland sharks' stomachs. If Greenland sharks take live prey and are capable of attacking creatures far larger than themselves, would they go after humans? I meet with Canadian marine biologist Chris Harvey-Clark,
Find you by the water. So
one of very few people in the world who have dived with these sharks.
have you ever felt that you might be on the menu, or they might be thinking along those lines?
When I first started diving with these animals, I had no idea what they were going to do. People sort of thought they were big, sleepy catfish type animals that really were not particularly predatory, were not particularly curious. Well, it turns out that they do all kinds of things we never expected.
Chris's rare footage shows just how close he got to these sharks in the St. Lawrence River in Canada.
They will leave you, and then they'll go out and they'll come around and they'll get back on your 6 o'clock position. They do it again and again and again. They want to come back and see just what's going on. And curiosity is a predator trait. Some of the encounters I've had have been incredibly scary, particularly bad visibility when the animal encounters you despite your best efforts. I've got mirrors on my camera, my head's on a swivel, and bang. That gives you pause, and it also makes me think about how these animals actually can kill agile, smart prey.
This is disturbing stuff. These sharks displayed no fear of Chris in the water. Perhaps they consider humans potential prey. Would these sharks attack? I need to get one on the end of a line. Only by doing battle with one of these beasts will I be able to get a sense of what it's capable of.
Yes, yes.
I'm in Arctic Norway, investigating the true nature of the mysterious Greenland shark. And I'm heading 150 miles south of Tromsø to the deepwater fjords around Andøya Island. I've discovered that there's more to this elusive shark than meets the eye. To find out if they pose any threat to people, I'm joining scientist Julius Nielsen and his team on the Vågsfjord, where Greenland sharks congregate at this time of year.
Morning.
Morning. Morning, Jeremy.
Yeah, morning, Julius.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good weather, eh?
Yeah, nice.
We're going to pool our resources to catch one of these sharks. My target will be a large adult, for the most accurate gauge of this animal's power. And today's conditions are perfect. We need calm water to handle big sharks safely. However, the long-range forecast is not so good. An Arctic storm is on its way, so the pressure is on to catch a shark quickly. Boat Captain Thor Eivind is a veteran of these expeditions and knows this fjord like the back of his hand.
So this is a more sophisticated version of what I was using in Greenland. I mean, there it was a bit of chain on the end. You need metal down here by the bait because otherwise the shark's teeth are just going to chomp through it. So on the end of the wire we've got very thick nylon. Good to go?
Yeah.
Using a rod and line to catch what could be a 1-ton fish is a massive challenge. But it's my chance to finally see what this monster can do. This fjord plunges to a depth of 1,500 feet. My bait is a tiny speck in an impossible volume of water. After several hours, there are signs of activity.
What do you reckon, Thor? I mean, there's definitely something, isn't it? But does that look more like a small fish?
Yeah. You see the rod making some movements there. Yeah, you see.
There, definitely.
But fishing at such enormous depths, it's difficult to read the signals. The only way to know for sure is to bring the line up.
That feels like it might be something.
Reeling in 1,500 feet of line can take 20 minutes of effort.
Certainly quite curious to see what this bait looks like because it's definitely have a lot of attention for something. Right. Ah, yeah.
So this is more like it.
Yes.
Something has bitten the bait in half.
I think definitely a shark has caused this, but it's just not taking all the bait and didn't take the hook.
Would you guess that's a smaller one or no way of saying?
No way of saying.
Right.
No way. That's a good sign.
That's a good
Very
sign. Good
Yeah.
sign. Something has been... Okay, right.
It's confirmation that we're fishing in the right spot. But we're one day down with no shark, and we won't have good weather for long. The next day, we're back on the water, but the wind direction has changed. Cold Arctic air is sweeping in from the north. storm is close.
Okay, got that?
Yeah.
After a couple of hours, I feel a pull on my line.
That's it. Okay, here we go. It's going to wind down.
And this time, it feels bigger.
Yes, eventually, yes. Yes, yes, there is something. Can someone just hang on to me though, thanks.
Whatever is on the line, it's fighting. And bringing it up is not easy from a wet, moving deck.
There's definitely a weight on here, considerable weight.
The last time I landed a Greenland shark was in the middle of the night. An encounter in daylight will be far more revealing. But I can't relax for a second.
I've probably got its head, the whole body tilting up at the moment, so if it actually beats its tail, it's helping its way to the surface. But if I pause to take a breath, if it gets its head down, suddenly my work's a lot harder.
My arms are burning, but I've got to keep reeling. I may not get another chance.
Yes, yes, here we go. It's on the surface. There it is.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm in Norway on the trail of the Greenland shark. And something has taken my bait 1,500 feet under the boat.
Yes, yes, here we go. It's on the surface. There it is.
Wow. Yeah. Exactly what we were talking about.
Right.
Wow.
This is interesting.
This is very, very unusual.
Even after 15 minutes on the line, this supposedly sluggish shark is thrashing with the energy more like I'd expect from a great white. This is surprising.
I've never seen a Greenland shark with this kind of movements. I've never seen one this much alive. Normally they are slow and docile. Really interesting. Wow. You want to try it? Yeah.
A noose is secured around its tail to prevent the shark from spinning.
Yeah. Jeremy, yeah.
213, I've got.
Yep, 213.
7 feet long and weighing 250 pounds, I'm told it's a 40-year-old juvenile.
Yeah, we let go. There we go, off we go. Vertical.
Seeing this energetic behavior on the surface feels like a breakthrough in my investigation.
That shark was definitely very much alive. It was smashing his tail back and forth.
It surprised you, the activity?
Definitely. I have never seen a Greenland shark with this kind of movements before. That was exactly what I was kind of hoping or expecting that they could do.
This dramatic encounter suggests to me that this shark might be something of a Jekyll and Hyde character. A normally docile scavenger that can suddenly turn on the aggression. But we need to know more. Julius needs a larger shark to tag. And I need to do battle with a full-sized adult to see what power it can wield. We fish on. The hours pass with no further action on the line. When something does finally break the surface, it's big, but it's not a shark.
Well, I've seen lots of strange things filming river monsters, but this is definitely a first for me. Sitting in a boat, and next thing you know, there's a submarine appearing alongside. Whee!
Seeing this submarine gets me thinking about what life must be like for Greenland sharks, living at extreme depth under immense water pressure.
This is a aluminium drinks bottle, empty. Seal it up. When I say it's empty, I mean technically it's full of air, but air at 1 atmosphere of pressure. And I'm going to throw this in the water. Actually, if I threw it in just like this, it would float. So, a couple of big weights to take it down and to record what happens to it. Waterproof camera here. Just set that running.
A Greenland shark has been observed over 7,000 feet down from a robotic submersible. This experiment shows what happens at just a fraction of that depth and pressure.
That's actually 100 feet. I'm going to stop it there and bring it up. There's the camera, and there we go. This is a metal object that's been crushed at 100 feet. The Greenland shark in this fjord lived down at 1,500 feet, so where the pressure is actually 15 times what did that. As a land animal who occasionally splashes around in the shallows, it's just very hard to imagine what it's like living in a world without light, with just such immense pressure.
We fish on as the Arctic storm creeps ever closer.
Looks like the weather forecast was right. It's continuing to deteriorate, the weather. We've got a bit of rain starting now. It's really just hoping that we get something before it gets that much worse. But so far, nothing really happening today.
Just as I fear my window of opportunity is closing, a sign from the deep.
Is that something? Yeah.
I strap in just in case. This is definitely my last chance to land something big.
Yes, 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 yes.
You have something?
Yes! It's actually pulling. Are you on my back? Somebody on that back. Somebody on this handle here. Yeah.
Now it is.
That's rolling, it's rolling. Potentially dangerous because it rolls too far at the line. Ah. There's a very strong pull here. The way the rod is levering me, and I've got feet on a slippery deck. This is a couple of times I've just been quite worried about disappearing over the edge.
There's no doubt that whatever is on my line has monstrous power.
Here we go.
Just lean back.
Leaning back.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
I'm in Norway with what feels like a monster shark on the end of my line.
Here we go.
Just lean back.
Leaning back.
Yeah, got it.
There it is. Ah, yes. Yes, 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 yes.
It's a wide one. It's very wide. Follow. It's a feisty one. It's a very feisty one.
It's a 10-foot Greenland shark.
Where's the other end?
Here, got it here.
So it's a big male shark. We can see from the claspers that they are very well developed.
Julius and I have just minutes to examine, tag and release this shark. The process punctures the thick skin but doesn't harm the animal. These satellite tags will record how far and how deep this shark swims over the next 6 months. For me, though, it's all about size and power.
So this is the girth. So that is how wide around the body this animal is.
I reckon this shark weighs around 700 pounds. Julius estimates it's roughly 200 years old. It's one of the biggest and certainly the oldest fish I've ever caught. It's truly awe-inspiring to look at this creature up close, a monster that few people ever see. And this daylight encounter has told me what I needed to know.
Well, this is what I came to Norway for. What I wanted to see was a live Greenland shark in the daylight, up on the surface, so I could get a really good look at it. And also, the other thing was just feeling it on the line.
The sharks that I pulled in didn't seem like docile scavengers. Their powerful bursts of energy were those of a beast that can react fast to moving prey. A hunter that knows its own strength and how to use it. Add to that the highly specialized teeth, and you could be looking at a very capable predator.
Today, we have made a significant step towards getting a much fuller picture of this very, very strange, elusive shark.
But does the Greenland shark pose a threat to people in the water? Certainly, knowing what I know now, I'd think twice about jumping into the water with another one. This shark appears to have a temperament that can shift from unassuming scavenger to powerful killer in a heartbeat. And until we know what flicks that switch, I just hope that this mysterious Jekyll and Hyde monster remains deep under the Arctic ice, well away from here. I'm Jeremy Wade, and I hope you enjoyed watching Ice Cold Killer. Now I've thawed out, and I'm the one on the hook with questions from River Monsters viewers. I'll answer as many as I can in the few minutes that we've got, all right? What do we have? Blank.-canvas on Instagram, that's how it's spelled, says, what was the first time you remember fishing? First time I remember fishing, I didn't catch anything. In fact, there's several times I never caught anything at all. It was the village where I grew up in England, very shallow, clear water. I could see the fish darting around between weed beds, and I kept hurling bits of bread at them on the end of a line, and they weren't interested at all, and I thought, this is a complete waste of time. You know, what do people see in fishing? Anita B on Facebook, what do you and your crew eat when you're out in the woods or on the river banks around the world? It varies. We sort of eat whatever we can get our hands on, really.
Eating a bit of prana.
A lot of people think that we're always eating luxury, lovely stuff, and we do sometimes, but it's mostly just sort of functional fuel, just stodge. Actually, the simplest stuff is sometimes the nicest.
The soup, the juice of these shellfish is fantastic, actually, really nice.
World Wonder 8 on Instagram. What fish do you most resent? Resent for any reason? Do I resent fish? I might have to think about that one. Do I resent? I don't really resent fish. They've got a right to exist. That's probably a much deeper answer to that question, but it'll take me 24 hours to think of it. Bella S on Facebook asks, have you gotten all of the diseases known to man? And if you haven't, how did you protect yourself? I've got a fair few of the diseases, a lot of them, you know, parasitic diseases. Malaria was interesting. I've got a pretty good constitution now. I'm fairly resistant to most stuff. Doug B on Facebook, what conditioner does he use? I've no time for fishtails, just the brand and length of application, please. Right, this is going to send product sales plummeting here, because actually I very rarely use anything to wash my hair. I just use water. I do wash it, but I tend to just use water. And I tend to think, what is the point of using shampoo to strip all the natural grease out of your hair? Then you just put artificial or grease from dead animals back into your hair. What's the point of that? So no brand is the answer there. Emerald Guajardo, possibly is what that is, on Instagram. What, in your opinion, was the weirdest fish you ever caught? Weird. I caught some hagfish, not on rod and line, but we had to net them. They haven't really got mouths to speak of. Well, they haven't got jaws. That was off the west coast of Canada. Hagfish, extremely weird. And if you handle them, you get this slime on your hands, and if you put your hand in the water, it just forms this jelly. Chastity P on Facebook. I will surely miss watching your River Monsters. Will you be embarking on any new adventures or hobbies? Perhaps something your viewers can follow or watch. I was thinking of taking up knitting, maybe. That can be quite interesting, I've been told. No, I still want to go travelling to some rivers. I think I'm going to be busy. I think I'm going to be busy and active for a little while yet. I can't say much more about it than that. And I think I've run out of time as well, so that's actually all the time we've got tonight for this. Thank you very much for watching this and for watching River Monsters. Fish on.